I believe that the San Francisco 49ers, the team that went 10-7 and made a run to the NFC Championship before losing to the Rams, will be the best team in the entire NFL next season, and here's why. As we all know, Jimmy G is still a part of the 49ers. If the 49ers released him today, it would save $18 million in cap space. But since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan royally messed up trying to trade Jimmy, they are now at a state of not knowing what to do. Here's my take on the situation. Hopefully, if the 49ers traded Jimmy, they would still at least get a third-round pick for him. But looking how injury-prone he is and how he is going to be out for the start of the preseason with a shoulder injury, it will be hard to even ask for a third-rounder out of teams. This is why I believe the 49ers will have to release Jimmy. This would also create enough cap space to further extension talks with Deebo Samuel, since as it looks right now, he's not very happy with the 49ers, since he has gotten rid of most of his association with the team on social media. If Jimmy G is released, I believe that Trey Lance will be able to do a much better job than Jimmy did. He brings a much more vertical attack to the passing game, and when watching the Texans game this past season, he was much more patient with his throws when he would roll out of the pocket. If you would watch Jimmy G, you would see that he would rush his throws when rolling out, and it would cause for bad decision making. Also, Trey brings a much better rushing attack to the team since he can scramble very well. In just 2 games started, unless you count the game against the Seahawks where he came in for Jimmy G, he rushed for 84 yards in both those games. This is nothing crazy, but it is still good for a rookie having not much experience in the NFL. As for Trey's passing stats, in 3 games he passed for 603 yards, 201 yards per game, and threw for 5 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. The touchdowns and interceptions make sense as those came in games where Trey still wasn't used to the high caliber of teams in the NFL. But I believe with Trey having one full offseason with the 49ers, it will cause him to improve his game much more and he will become the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Now if Trey does struggle a little bit, which I believe he will, I think defense will be there to back him up. With the 49ers acquiring Tre'Davious Ward and Ambry Thomas and Damian Lillard continuing to develop with the help of Emmanuel Mosley, the 49ers corners will be able to hold their ground. I think they will draft at least a corner and maybe a safety in the upcoming draft. But the big thing I think the 49ers will do to elevate their defense is to sign Tyrann Mathieu to help Jimmy Ward. And they didn't re-sign Jaquiski Tartt, showing how they do need a safety. Now speaking about the offense, I believe, injuries not included, the 49ers offense can be one of the best in the NFL. Hopefully Lynch figures out the situation with Deebo Samuel so he's not holed out and so he can play this season. If he does get an extension, then the offense will have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Lance, and Trent Williams. Speaking about the offensive line for a second, I believe that the 49ers need to figure out what to do with the offensive line and fast after losing Tomlinson to the Jets and Tom Coughlin to the Broncos. If not, then pray that Trey Lance doesn't look like Joe Burrow did this past season. But besides that, the offense can be lethal. The 49ers should draft one other wide receiver, hopefully Christian Watson, Trey Lance's number 1 wide receiver in college. In 2019, their connection alone combined for 732 yards with just 34 pitches and catches and 6 touchdowns. Elijah Mitchell will be an amazing running back number 1 after Raheem Mostert left to the Miami Dolphins. Also, if Trey Sermon can pan out, or at least be less injured than this past season, then I feel as if the 49ers backfield will be fine since they also just re-signed Jeff Wilson Jr. If the front offense plays the pieces right, then they will have a top 10 offense in the league next season. By almost all 49ers fans, the team's priority to try and improve special teams was overlooked. The 49ers have improved their special teams so much this offseason, with mainly just 2 guys, Ray McLeod and George Odom. Ray played amazing for the Steelers and will be such a good kick and punt returner. He had 776 kick returns yards and 367 punt return yards this past season. He is also much better than Richie James, but that is the Giants' problem now. Then George Odom. According to Pro Football Focus, Odom played 1,301 total snaps on special teams and was selected as an AP All-Pro and a Pro Football Focus All-Pro in 2020 after leading the league with 20 special teams tackles. He has such a great impact on special teams alone that I feel as if it will impact others around him to be better. As I saw this multiple times on Instagram that people would complain seeing that the Niners signed these guys, but I believe that they will most likely have some of the biggest impact on the team going forward. So my conclusion for this video, as much as it wasn't really focusing on how great the team is going to be, it focused on why the 49ers front office did a good job this past free agency, even though they didn't get your favorite player. If Trey Lance gets to start, then I believe that he will succeed because of his mobility and his ability to have a more vertical and patient passing style, which will cause him to make smarter passes. But if Trey does start to struggle, then the defense will be able to pick up his slack and win games for us while Trey becomes better. Special teams will have a greater impact because of the additions of Ray McCloud and George Odom. 49ers can no doubt be the best team in the NFL next season and make a run greater than they did this past season.